Good morning, welcome everyone. We welcome you to this press conference, and we're going to ask you to tolerate the sometimes disorganized, because this doesn't happen every day. How do you make a saint? This is, we're all learning about this process. So welcome, my name is Alan Sanchez. I'm the CEO President of CHI, St. Joseph's Children, a ministry that Sister Blandina began that continues to serve in New Mexico. And so we welcome you here. I want to introduce some of the people that are with us today. And of course, leading our press conference, Archbishop Michael Sheehan, Archbishop of Santa Fe. Bishop Ricardo Ramirez, Bishop Emeritus of Las Cruces. Officially representing the Sisters of Charity of Cincinnati, Sister Victoria Ford. We have a number of sisters with us. I want to introduce a sister that was the CEO President of St. Joseph when we had the ministry of the hospital. Same mission, but another strategy, but of the hospitals. Sister Celestia Coble, who came from Cincinnati to be with us. And with her, Sister Monica Lucas, the former Vice President of St. Joseph Community Health, Karen Relkin. So how did this begin? We know the sister came in 1872 and did all these amazing works that you can see in the book of her, which are a collection of her letters to her sister, which were never meant to be a book, but were published and shows the work that she did here. Sister is a great candidate because she's so well documented, not just in church publications, but also in secular publications. Very well documented. And so her tradition has lived on. We know she worked with the parish of San Felipe. She started the first public school in Albuquerque there. And you can see the little building, and it has a plaque on it right behind the church. The work that she did, not just in the church, but outside the church and for the people. She started St. Vincent's Academy, Girls Academy, and many people of Albuquerque went to school there. A matter of fact, they would have a play every year of Sister Blandina. I'm so proud that my sister Martha got to play Sister Blandina one year. The board of CHI St. Joseph's Children last year, knowing that she's been alive and at work in our ministry, passed a resolution, a motion, to petition the Archbishop to open the cause of canonization for Sister Blandina. Her given name is Rosa Maria Segale. And she came to the United States at 4 years old, a child immigrant to the U.S. What great contribution she made to New Mexico and in Cincinnati. And in Cincinnati, she founded many organizations. So the board petitioned, asked the Archbishop. And so the Archbishop had to see, is there a following of her? Is there publications? Is she recorded? She's well documented. And then goes to the Vatican to ask for permission. And they'll do some inquiries. So talking about that process and what will happen Sunday, when the Archbishop will officially open the cause for canonization of Sister Blandina. Archbishop Sheehan.
And the Archbishop of Santa Fe permission to open the cause of beatification and canonization. Therefore, I, Michael J. Sheehan, Archbishop of Santa Fe, declare open a canonical inquiry of the holiness and heroic virtues of the servant of God, Sister Blandina. The cause for beatification and canonization is now officially opened. I summon all persons with knowledge and or evidence of the servant of God to make known their knowledge and their evidence. And I hereby appoint Bishop Ricardo Ramirez, Bishop of Las Cruces Emeritus, as postulator of the case. I accept CHI, St. Joseph's Children, as petitioner of the cause. Let it be known that Sister Blandina shall now bear the title, the Servant of God. And I'll be signing that document, and it'll be publicized or placed and the proclamation will be placed on the doors of the Cathedral Basilica in Santa Fe this Sunday afternoon.
Archbishop Jim, thank you so much for the honor that you have given me, the privilege of working on this cause. It's the more I know about it, the more excited I get. There was nothing bland about Sister Blandina. She was a firecracker, and she was determined to do things. If you would ask me to describe her, I would describe her that her virtue was holy stubbornness. But her cause is cause for jubilation throughout our state and throughout the Southwest. She was assigned to Trinidad, there in Cincinnati, and she thought she was going to the island of Trinidad. To her surprise, she landed in southern Colorado, where she worked intensely also in establishing schools and working with children and working with people on the frontier. And then, of course, she moved into New Mexico, where she excelled in starting the education in our state, and also starting the first hospitals in our state. We owe so much to her. And she even went down to Las Cruces in El Paso once. She was on a stagecoach, and you know, she was mule savvy. That's M-U-L-E, mule savvy. Because they were going through this terrible storm, and they couldn't see. And the driver, the man who was in charge of the stagecoach, he couldn't see it. He didn't know which way to go. And Sister Blandina simply said, just let the reins go and let the mules go, and they will get there. And sure enough, they did. She was right. Maybe that'll be her miracle. The miracle of the mules. Anyway, this is a good time to work on her cause, because many of the things that she was concerned about, we are concerned about today. Whether it's health care, whether it's education, whether it's care for immigrants, especially immigrant children. And that was a special love in Cincinnati, where we visited a few weeks ago, Alan and I, to begin the process. We visited Santa Maria Institute, that is still in operation, just as some of her work is still happening right here in Albuquerque, where we are right now, taking care of young mothers and their children. So her work continues, her spirit continues, and hopefully her inspiration will continue. The first thing to do was to visit her grave. I guess to make sure that she's really dead. Because saints have to die before they're declared saints. And actually the church doesn't make saints. It's God who makes saints. The church simply declares that these are saints and worthy to be honored as saints and to have devotion to them. So these causes of hers are very much issues today. And they are reminders that we must care for the poor, for the sick, for the children, for immigrants, even now, because these issues are still very much alive. But I am grateful to be made the postulator. We'll do our very best. She was so well known. She was even, they did a show, I don't know if some of you old timers like me remember the Wild Wild West on television. They made a show of her when she saved a man from hanging. So she was against capital punishment as well. So thank you, Archbishop Sheehan, and it'll be a joy. I have to read, this is a book that says, describes the whole process of canonization. I have my homework ahead of me. But anyway, I urge all of you to read her letters to her sister at the end of the Santa Fe Trail. It's fascinating. It reads like a modern novel. So thank you, and we will answer questions later.
Sister Joan Elizabeth Cook, the president of the Sisters of Charity of Cincinnati, is unable to be with us today, but I can attest to how much she wanted to be here, and she sends her greetings and prayers. I'm Sister Victoria Marie Ford, a graduate of St. Vincent Academy, one of the schools Sister Blandina built, and she literally helped build it. with the help of a Native American and Navajo, Jose Apodaca. Sister Blandina is a model for countless people. She herself was an immigrant. She came from Italy when she was 4 years old. She worked with poor immigrants throughout her life, in the West and in Cincinnati. There she began the Santa Maria Institute, probably the first Catholic settlement house in the United States. It is still going strong in several places, and some of our sisters work there too. She worked for racial equality. For example, several Indian tribes trusted her to settle disputes. As a model for educators, she bought land and built schools. She was ahead of her time in fighting human trafficking in Albuquerque and in Cincinnati, where she was made a probation officer. Her motto was, "Do what presents itself," and she always did, courageously. The list could go on and on. Most importantly, she embodied the Sisters of Charity's spirit of charity. And we Sisters of Charity are pleased and humbled by this opening of her cause for canonization. Thank you.
Sister Blandina was one of the official petitioners for the cause of canonization of St. Elizabeth Ann Seton. And so she has her fingerprints all over many things in the United States. And I was asked by a reporter, so we're going to have to look at her whole history. Well, yes, we're looking back, but we're also looking forward. In this process, once the decree is made on Sunday, Sister Blandina has to keep working. She has to perform a miracle, a new miracle, before she can be beatified. And then after beatification, she has to perform another miracle before she can be a saint. So we're not just looking to the past, but we're looking to the future, and for people to call on her and for her help, and to take us closer to Jesus. Prayer for the canonization of Sister Blandina. Let us pray. O God, whose name